All right, we are live. Welcome everybody to another edition of Deconversion Stories. I am your host, Neil, the 604 Atheist, and today I'm chatting with my good friend Nervardia, who's on the other side of the planet from me right now, down in Australia.
That is assuming we exist.
Yes, that's assuming Australia is real. I can't believe that ever started, to be honest. But anyways, Nervardia, you know what I do here. I talk to people about the reasons they left religious belief behind, and their journey from there to becoming the atheist activists in a lot of cases that they are today, or that you are today. So why don't you take us kind of all the way back there and tell us about how you were in the religion and what kind of led you away from it?
Okay. Well, I was originally born in Australia. So long time ago, my mummy and my daddy. No, I'm joking.
It was one evening in the summer and they were frisky.
I think it was the summer. My birthday's in April, so we're close on.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Anyway, my mum was brought up in a very religious household. My grandmother is Brethren, which is a interesting thing, and I actually probably should look into that more. But my dad was a very staunch atheist, so I was brought up with those two different thoughts in my life. And one of the things that I did when we were growing up is that public schools had to teach scripture, like Christianity, which is not okay in my opinion, because Let's be honest, it's public school. It should not be pushing your religion onto children.
Nope. Unless it's a special course for it, right?
Pardon?
I don't have a problem if they have like a special course that you like, an elective that you can do if you want to, but they shouldn't force anyone to do that shit.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it was an opt-out system, not an opt-in.
Okay.
So, like the default was to go to scripture, and for someone, like, imagine if you were a kid and you didn't want to go, or your parents didn't know that they could ask you to leave or whatever, and also because it was a opt-out rather than an opt-in, any kids that were opted out went and sat somewhere else and were othered, and there was just a small group of kids, like definitely in the minority, that ended up leaving. So that was a problem. But anyway, I remember when I was a little girl, I sort of flopped between believing and not believing in atheism, or in Christianity, sorry. So I remember very strongly remembering to myself thinking to myself, my God, like, this is so embarrassing. I remember being thoroughly embarrassed being told that I had to praise and love God, which, for a 6-year-old, I didn't really have the vocabulary to be able to say, I don't believe in God, and I found this embarrassing. I just remember thinking it was embarrassing, but I couldn't enunciate why. But also on the same side, I also at times became really, really, really Christian. So I remember my mum used to take us to church, and and I asked her a few months back, like, which church did she take us to? And she said that she went to a Baptist church. We went to a Baptist church. And anyway, so as I was growing up, I remember just having, questioning, getting embarrassed, going, what is going on? And then, I remember saying to my dad when I was quite young, who created the universe? And Dad was like, I don't know. Well, there you go. God must have done it, Get them while they're young, really, isn't it? Anyway.
Go to the gaps, putty.
Yeah.
Just fill in the hole with this stuff right here.
Anyway, my dad being a staunch atheist, probably wanted to kill someone. I still haven't brought that up. I really should say, look, Dad, I'm sorry. Anyway, when I ended up going to, we ended up moving up into a area of the world that was quite hippie, sort of new agey kind of place. I was still Christian, and I was this was 11 years old. we were at scripture, and I said, and we were talking, and I can't remember why, but there was this girl there. She might have been like Assembly of God or something, like one of those really, really extreme Christians. And she started talking in tongues.
Yeah.
And like she was like, you know, like, I can't do it. Anyway, so she started talking in tongues, and I kind of thought that was a bit weird. And she was also one of those girls who used to go on about how wonderful she was and how you could trust her because she was Christian, and she was frankly a bitch. Really, she was one of the girls that really bullied me when I was at school. Anyway, so when I was growing, like when I was there, I kind of was religious, kind of wasn't, you know. I think mainly most of the time I defaulted into what I call I don't careism. Does that make sense? You know, it's like when I wasn't religious, I just didn't give a crap. Anyway, so I left primary school and I went to a Catholic school. And of course, Catholic school, I had to go to RE, like religious education. And
Yeah.
I don't mind that so much because it was a religious school. Like that's a bit different to a public school.
Yeah,
Anyway,
absolutely.
yeah.
Plus, you know, a lot of times, you know, even though you don't buy the bullshit, a lot of times the courses or classes about religion, usually they go into the whole stories of Bible stories and stuff like that. And it's pretty interesting anyways, right? But,
yeah. And actually, in it was year 8 or year 9, we actually did a course on cults, which, I mean, that was a long, long time ago, but I remember we did a couple of conversations on cults and how to recognize a cult and what a cult looks like. And, you know, actually probably if they had done, I think they would have made a much better talk, like conversation if they had continued on with that. Because it was only a couple of weeks worth of, I think we had RE once a week or something, and I was on a couple of lessons on it. But I really think that would have been much more interesting conversation.
Sure.
Anyway, so in year 7, my best friend at primary school. So we go from primary school goes from kindergarten to year 6, and then from year 7 till grade 12, where we graduate high school. That's the way it's set up here. So
Same here.
it was, So in grade 7, at the end of grade 7, beginning of grade 8, my best friend from primary school moved to another Christian college, and she became quite religious. And she took me to a youth group called, I can't remember what it was. It was just a youth group. And of course, I was still quite religious at the time because I was, flip-flopping. And so I was like, cool, I'll go there too. And we went. I remember we had these parables that we were often told, and one of these parables I remember was people had to go. These kids had to go. Brother and sister had to go dingo hunting. So dingoes are like a native Australian dog here in Australia, obviously, and
they eat babies too, so they're atheists, right?
They do.
Dingoes ate my baby.
And to be honest with you, that poor woman, it actually turned out that she was not lying, and she just got dragged. Yeah, no, she lost her baby to a dingo attack, and no one believed her. That was, it was a genuine thing. I like it. It's funny to people, but the actual story behind it is actually quite tragic. Yeah, and she went to jail and everything because nobody believed that a dingo ate her baby, and it actually happened. Anyway, so they went dingo hunting, and they did that by poisoning some golden syrup, which is kind of a bit like molasses, sort of like a sweet kind
golden syrup's awesome.
It's delicious, isn't it?
Oh yes.
The reason why I'm clarifying this is that I've told this story a couple of times, and people are like, "What's a dingo? What's golden? Why are they killing dingoes?" And the reason why they were hunting dingoes was to protect their livestock because they were country kids.
Sure.
Anyway, these on the way back from putting out the baits, this the brother had something on his hand, like a drop of golden syrup on his hand, and he went to lick it, and his sister was like, no, don't eat it, don't lick it, you'll die because it's poisoned. And the parable was like, we always have to be on our guard because the devil will always try to kill us, like will try to tempt us away from God, and we always have to have our thoughts around, and have to make sure that it's okay. Anyway, so you always had to have your guard up against God and against Satan. And I was kind of thought to myself, well, isn't that a bit unfair? I mean, we are human, we are fallible. Don't you think God would, just where we fail, God can forgive us, and we can kind of, just, help us out, because when, we're not going to be able all the time to not have our guard up against Satan. And of course, I thought that, and of course, the thought-stopping techniques that are so readily taught to you as a child was like, no, you can't think that, and God loves you and everything, and you're just gonna be perfect all the time for God, but that
perfect
was
all the time.
Yeah, because God is perfect, and we've got to be like God, and if we're not like God, then we're not perfect, and we deserve to be punished because we're not like God, but we'll never be like God because we're not perfect. Like, hooray, classic abuse.
Yeah, no kidding.
And anyway, I remember saying, like, that was just one of the things I think kind of, like, obviously, since it's stuck in my mind, I must have been like starting to have that doubt resurface. And anyway, I remember saying, a little bit later, I wanted to become confirmed into the Catholic Church. And I think that must have been around about 15 or 16 years of age, because I think confirmation generally happens around 16. So I was like, I think I might want to become confirmed into the church. So I decided, well, before I get confirmed into the church, I'm going to do my research and start reading the Bible. And I started reading the Bible, and I started getting depressed. And then after a while, I stopped reading the Bible because, schoolwork was getting on top of me, and I just didn't keep it up. And then all of a sudden I stopped reading the Bible and started feeling happier. Anyway, a while later, I was like, oh crap, I haven't read the Bible again. I bet God's angry at me. I'm going to start reading the Bible. So I started reading the Bible, started getting depressed, started asking God, can you please help me get out of this funk? I'm really depressed. Can you help me? Schoolwork got on top of me. I stopped reading the Bible, started feeling better.
Weird.
I know, it's weird. A while later, I was like, I was like, crap, I'm going to have to go to see the, say, look, sorry, God, I haven't read the Bible, so sorry about this. I'm going to start reading the Bible again. Start getting depressed. Start going,
It sounds like a cycle to me.
Yeah, well, I kind of thought that after a few times, and I was like, I'm going to start reading the Bible from.
Charm, right?
Yeah, I think it was probably about 3 times, and I just started thinking to myself, you know what? I'm going to read the Bible from a psychoanalytical point of view, and I was like, no wonder I'm depressed. It's just like, holy shit, this is like the most abusive relationship. I was just blown away. I was like, what an asshole.
You figured the clue would be he killed his only fucking son. Right off the top. Right? Like this does not in any way feel like love. What the hell is this shit?
No. And it's other things like punishing people by destroying someone else. Like, what sort of loving? Anyway, so I think this was about 16. And remember how I mentioned to you about the girl that ended up being like this real bitch, and the one that was talking. And I started also noticing a pattern where everyone who goes on about how wonderful they are and you can trust them because they're Christian, are also the ones that are less likely to be trusted. So I can't remember how old I was, but there was a girl on my bus. She was bullied, but I talked to her. And one day she was looking pretty down. I was like, "Oh, what's wrong with you? Like, what's happened?" And she said, "Oh, I brought my CD player to to school, and one of the girls borrowed it off me and refused to give it back. So she stole my CD player." And I was like, "That's really, really fucked," basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
she said, "You know what? I thought I could trust her because she's such a Christian." And also, I've had a couple of family members who go on about how wonderfully Christian they are, and they've, stolen money from people. And it's sort of like, I also noticed that the more religious a person, well, at least Christian, um, the more religious they are, the less trustworthy they are. At least in my experience. I could be totally wrong. There's definitely a lot of very strong Christian people who are very Christian, and I would trust them with my life. But that was just a correlation I noticed. The more religious someone is, the less likely they are to be trustworthy.
Well, there's actually a study on that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And it's
it says that.
correlation.
Well, they're saying that like this was done by country, I think, and the more religious the country, the more shitty the people were. It seemed, to put it in a nutshell. I could be more specific, but and then the more secular the country, the better people were. Like the better they treated each other, the better they behaved, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and also, isn't there like the more religious a country is, the worse the natural disasters tend to be? That's what I've read somewhere.
really,
I'm not entirely sure.
that's a
I'm
new
not
one on
entirely
me.
sure. Yeah, I'll probably have to look it up. But yeah, the worse the natural disasters, probably because they put so much emphasis into the religious institutions rather than making decently built buildings and maybe, I don't know. That's my hypothesis. I could be totally wrong. Um,
They're just in a bad place on the planet.
maybe, yeah. Anyway, so I remembered this a couple of weeks ago. My grandmother took me to church, and this was when I was like, "Yep, no, God, if God doesn't exist, not something that I would like to worship." She took me to church, and there was a parable where they have, like, every time you have a kid come in, they every time you go to church, like, they have this thing for the kids. Anyway, they had the kids thing. They had, rather than the 3 little pigs, they had the 2 little pigs, and
Too
they
little.
had the 2 little pigs. And with the 2 little pigs, one was like, stayed at home, looked after his parents, blah blah blah, while the other one went away and um, went to parties, got drunk, had drugs, blah blah blah.
So he's the cool
Stop.
pig.
Yeah, stop believing in God. While the other pig, he stayed at home and looked after his parents. And because the one that stayed home and looked after his parents got his parents' advice when building a house, he built it on solid foundations and with bricks, while the other one completely shunned whatever their parents said and built it on straw and sand, basically. And so the wolf came along and blew down the bad pig's house and wasn't able to blow down the good pig's house. And they were like, "Okay, so let's have a look what's inside the heart of the 2 little pigs." And the one that stayed at home is like love and joy and peace and God and rah, 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 while the second one is like didn't believe in God and hatred and anger and bitterness. And I was just like, "You mother, how dare you say that to 6-year-old kids?" Oh, fuck, I was angry. I was so pissed when I was like, I remember I texted somebody going, "Christianity is evil." That was my takeaway with that. It was Christianity was evil. So yeah, that was another nail in the coffin. But after I decided to stop worshipping God, I never actually lost my faith. I just kind of went, yeah, no, I'm not going to worship the Christian God. So as I mentioned, it was a very hippie, new agey area of the world. So I got into things like astrology and things like crystal healings and,
pyramid power.
yeah, it wasn't. I don't believe that anymore.
That's good.
Yes. I mean, I have this. This is Labradorite, but there is a reason why I have it, and it's not because it does amazing things to my chi.
It's okay if you like that kind of stuff for jewelry. I have no problem with that at all. I got a little amethyst, little pyramid shape amethyst piece up there. So
yeah, and if it's pretty, it's fine. Yeah. Anyway, the reason why I have this is I used to do lapidary, and Labradorite was the mascot stone for the club that I was a part of, and I saw this at uni, and I was like, oh, I should buy that. That's really pretty. So that's why I got it. Anyway, that's on tangent. Anyway, so I did start believing in those things. Like, I didn't like GMO. I didn't like. I was actually anti-vaxxer for a bit. I'm definitely all for vaccines now.
And no hate, people. No hate.
No hate, everyone. I was like all organic, and now I'm like, no, organic is not the way to go, everyone. So I definitely
kind of a scam. So
a little bit of a scam, and also a lot more environmentally damaging than it is for non-organic food as well. It's significantly less healthy for the planet, despite what all the organic people are saying. So I was just all kind of, every single trope that you can think of New Age, I was basically it. Anyway, I moved up to the city
did you ever get your chakras aligned?
I don't remember, but I definitely got my my aura photographed.
Your aura
I had Reiki. Yeah, I had my aura photographed. Apparently it's orange.
Oh, is it now? When I explain to somebody what the fuck an aura is, they're like, no, that can't be right. And I said, it's just the heat signature coming off your body. That's it. That's all it is, man. There's nothing special about it.
No, well, apparently I have an orange heat signature.
So you were rather warm that day then?
Probably. It was very big. It was like, got up to about here as well.
Holy fuck, what? That's no way. That big?
Yeah.
Heat dissipates like an inch off of your skin, so I don't understand.
Well, apparently that. Apparently. But it was also the January the 1st. I remember because we were there for New Year's Day. It was January the 1st, which is summer in Australia. So maybe that might have something to do with it. I don't know.
I think it's trick photography.
What was that?
I think it's trick photography.
Probably. Anyway, so there you go. I have an orange aura.
That's totally cool.
Yeah. I was like, damn it, I'm not purple.
Well, your name's in purple on my screen here. So.
Oh, yes. And it's a nice purple. I like that.
It came with the system, I guess. One of the options for this thing. So.
Yes. So I went up when I moved away from that area. I was sort of devolted back into the I don't careism. So I was a I don't careist at that time, and I moved up to
an I don't careist. I like it. Let's start this. I like this.
Let's start this religion of I don't care.
Yeah.
Anyway, I moved up to Brisbane, and I ended up going to university where I am at right now, and they won't let me use the internet for some unknown reason.
That's bizarre.
Yeah, I know. I don't understand. So I came to uni to avoid needing to use my internet through my phone, and now I'm using my phone. And then when I started university, there were a couple of things that made me go, yeah, I don't think there's a God outside of a black swan event. I'm pretty confident that there is no such thing as a God. So basically, what a black swan event, for those who don't know, is that it's a single event that actually disproves things. So it comes from the fact that in England you have white swans all the time. Like there's only white swans. So at the time, the paradigm was there are white swans. All swans are white. When they came to Australia and went to Western Australia, they found a black swan. So now the paradigm went from all swans are white to there may be other coloured swans. And so that's an example of a black swan event. Another example is that Central Australia never gets above 50 degrees Celsius, but a couple of years ago, Central Australia hit 50 degrees Celsius. I think it was 52 degrees Celsius or something like that. So that's another black swan event. So unless God actually goes, here I am, I'm fairly confident that there is no religion, no God, for example. So one of those things was actually learning how proteins folded. So proteins, when they fold, they increase entropy. So I'm not going to try and go very scientific here. So most people know the law, second law of thermodynamics, that entropy increases in a closed system. Is it that one, or is that the first one?
Yep. No, that's second.
Second. Okay. So the second law of thermodynamics is that everything goes towards chaos. And people might think that when a protein folds, it actually becomes less chaotic. But when a protein folds, it actually pushes the water molecules that line the amino acid chain. When they fold it, it pushes it out, and the entropy of that system actually increases because there's more free water molecules running around. And then because it folds in one way, because of the way all the side chains of the amino acid chain kind of works, like energetically wise, it has to fold again and again and again, always increasing the increasing entropy. And also it kind of comes into like this little funnel where, statistically speaking, a particular chain of amino acids will end up being a particular shape in the protein. So that was kind of like, for me, one of the big answers to the whole, where did life come from? And it was basically chemistry. Basically, it was like physics and chemistry all working together, and it was very naturalistic. I hope I haven't confused anyone. If you're interested of asking me more about it, just send me a DM on Twitter or ask me, and I'm also thinking about doing a video on it as well to sort of explain how protein folding goes. Anyway, the other thing that really made me go, oh, there's definitely no afterlife, is when I learnt about how the brain works and how our brain sends all those firing and stuff like that simply just by actin potentials. And once the brain stops working, once those chemical reactions stop reacting, then I'm like, well, that's it. They were the two. Those were the two things where I was like, yeah, I can't explain, I can't use supernatural explanations to go, yes, there is definitely a God, because the natural things just showed me. And it was just, for the first couple of years of uni, I've been having a lot of existential crises, to be honest with you, because I'm learning those sorts of things. Yeah, so that was basically it. Those were the nails in the coffin for me. I started my YouTube career as a career, my YouTube channel, because I actually had two. I've still got the second one up and running. I actually looked at it the other day. It was 98 subscribers to my other YouTube channel. Hooray.
Yeah, I got links to our YouTube channel below, guys, so go and check it out.
What was that, sorry?
I said I have links to the YouTube channel below, so go check it out, guys.
Don't check out my science one. Do not do that. I don't do anything on anymore.
Well, it's the Nervardia one.
Nervardia one, yes. Check that one out. But don't check out my science one because I don't do anything on it anymore. But I started it because my advanced organic chemistry class had to do a group assignment, and I did a video. Like, my group did a video, and I loaded it up on my video on my channel, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the whole process. So I thought, this is a lot of fun. So I kept doing it. And then after the Christchurch attack, I can never remember, is it end of April, end of March, April or May, one of them. Yeah, I should know this, and I keep meaning to look it up, but I keep forgetting. After the Christchurch attack, it was a guy, Australian bloke, also my oh no, it would have been at the end of March, because I did something like the election this year was the 18th of May. So yeah, it would have been the end of March, early April when the Christchurch attack happened. So I did a video on, like, I saw that there was all of the racism that was coming out, all of the crazy right-wing stuff, and I was so worried that Australia was going to be seen internationally as USA light. And right. I wanted to actually go, no, actually we're not like that. This is just some crazy people who are complete wankers just getting all the information, all of the voices being heard because they're loud and controversial. So I decided to start my YouTube channel, because at the time I was not able to find any atheist Australian YouTubers.
Right.
Yeah, and it was actually kind of lonely to start off with, because I was just kind of just making some stuff. I was getting one or couple of subscribers here and there, and then I met then I was watching Surus's channel, and I heard Notja, and I was like, that guy sounds Australian. So I contacted Notja. I sent him an email, and he got me on Twitter, and basically that's how I ended up on Twitter. And Paul saw a tweet of mine, and he was like, oh, I'll check this girl out, and he saw a couple of my videos, and I just since basically Paul finding me, well, not just introducing me to people, and Paul finding me, my channel's just gone kaboom. Yeah, and there you go. That's basically me in a nutshell. Yes.
In a nutshell.
In a nutshell. There's more nut than shell, to be honest with you.
My apologies. I was just setting up Crazy Catnip as a mod on my, because everyone gets a spanner on my fucking channel apparently.
Oh yes. I'm sorry, I can't actually see the comments. Oh, actually, now I can.
You can. You should be able to.
So I have been. I have not been seeing the comments, so I'm sorry if anyone's asked me any questions.
Not yet.
Because I've not seen any of them, so I apologize.
Tony Designs posted my Patron link, and he says Neil spends all donations on beer and bandanas.
Pretty much.
You spying on me?
All right. Yeah. Because I'm at uni, because I thought I was actually going to have to. I was going to use the Wi-Fi at uni, which I ironically am currently not. I apologize. I did not bring Lucius, and also Lucius is in shed again, so he's feeling pretty crappy. So I wouldn't get him out anyway. Poor little dude.
What the heck? I don't even know what the heck is that link there, Tony. That's a lot of shite in there.
Oh, nerdy. Okay.
Oh, it's the Amazon. What? No. What?
Is there do you have an Amazon wish list?
I do, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm trying to set one of those up.
Oh, it's easy.
But I haven't quite got there yet.
Yeah, that's weird, Tony. It looks fine in the chat on here, but in there it comes up with all these extra symbols for some reason. I have no idea why. So
everyone go to Neil's Amazon wish list and buy him stuff.
I don't have a lot on there, but the thing I really want the most, to be honest, is the carrying case for this thing.
Yes, I still got my box. Oh, that came out wrong.
We get it. It's okay. A wish list full of sex toys. No, great. Well, I guess it depends on what you're into, but the only other thing I want really badly is also for the microphone, but it's one of them weird arm things that you can move it around and
yeah,
a pop screen for it, or even one of the little fuzzy things you put on top. But,
yeah. Yeah, no, I'm about to set mine up. I'm looking at getting a new camera. I was going to get it because I'm going down to Skepticon in next week, which is really, really, really exciting. And the camera that I use right now is 8 years old and has a 30-minute battery life if I'm lucky. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to go and get myself a new camera. And I was like, I went to purchase it. And then it was like, it'll arrive when you're down in Melbourne. I was like, God damn it.
Well, that
so
sucks.
I know it's gonna be interesting how I'm gonna do it.
Send you mine if you want.
Yeah, it's
older than yours, but I have 2 batteries.
Yeah, no, I don't even have one of those. I only have one, and it doesn't even charge while I'm recording. So anyway,
and mine doesn't either. You have to. It has to not be used in order to charge.
I know, it's annoying.
It is indeed.
Yeah.
Hello, Diana.
First world problems.
Yeah, for
Diana.
Sure. Yeah, there's people worrying about which dumpster they're going to eat out of, and we're talking about our camera's battery's not fucking working.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Okay. Well, that's
You're like, that's pretty much it, man.
Yeah. See you later, everyone. Talk to you later.
Well, I mean, because you're working on sort of a limited battery time with your phone. If you want, we can shut this down and get into an after party for a little bit while you still have some power left. Like, what's your battery at right now?
72%. So in half an hour, it's gone down 10%. Yeah.
That's pretty good, actually. It's better than my phone, but fucking I've got like apps running in the background on this thing. So like, I swear right now it's at 65% and it was at 98% when we started.
Right. Well, I've got my phone continuously on battery saver mode because it's like a 2-year-old phone, and your batteries start to die at 2 years, which is which is exactly why my 8-year-old camera does not have a good battery.
TV2 me. Hey, TV2 me. It's been a while since I've seen you one of these.
Hey.
Yeah, mine's the Huawei P20 Pro. So it's the 3-camera one with the slooper slow-mo. Slooper.
Hang
on, slooper. Never mind. Yeah, but if you want, we can maybe just jump into an after party, and you can
sounds good.
After party for that if you want.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool. And I've actually promised my friend Pikachu that he could come into this one because I've always had them at times when he's been unable to. Right, so he's always like, "Hey, can I be in the after party?" I'm like, first of all, you don't have to ask. Like, you can come into the after parties as long as you're around to do it. And he's never around because the last few that I've done on weekends have been people in like England, so I've been going earlier so that it's not stupid o'clock at their time, right? Which for you, my normal times it works fine because it's like morning for you, but you're just that far ahead where it kind of works out like that. So But you're in Tomorrowland, right? You're already.
I am in Tomorrowland. It is the
Thursday,
28th of November. It
right?
is the 28th of
She's in the
November.
future. What are the lottery
I know.
numbers?
I don't know, but Donald Trump says something stupid.
What? Oh, come on. I could have told you that. I'm not even in the future. All right. So that's what we'll do then. So we can get maximize your battery time. We'll so let me ask you a quick question though before we go. Now that you're completely out of it, how does your family feel about all this? I'm sure your dad's probably like, yeah, but your mom, what's the deal with that?
Well, mum raised 3 very, very, very staunch atheists.
Good job, Mom.
No, she's okay. She's just a beautiful, kind, wonderful, caring, lovely woman. She doesn't make any she doesn't judge people. In Australia, or at least where I am, if you come out and say, look, I'm an atheist, no one really cares. Like,
yeah. It's like that.
Yeah. And it's really lovely. I mean, I've got a few people that are my patrons and my friends, and they're like, did you know that if I said what I said, like that I'm atheist, I would lose my job? And so I'm so grateful that this is a thing that we don't have to worry about in Australia. And my mum's just a beautiful, kind, caring woman. And she did actually say to me when I started Godless Australian, which was the previous name of my channel. She said, you've just got to make sure, these are some of the things that people really hold on to. And I'm like, I'm not going to try and deconvert people. I really am not. If people believe in God and they're good people, and it doesn't hurt people, then why try to deconvert them? Because when I was actually a theist, I really liked Aset, which is the Egyptian queen of the gods. I will not say her actual name that most people would know because of a particular group of terrorists that are deciding to kill people. So Aset was the Egyptian queen of the gods. I used to have her as pendant around my neck as well as a pentagram. And I think I still do have those things, and they're still very special to me. But I remember
I still wear the ring.
Oh yeah, that's cool. But I remember my stepsister's husband getting quite drunk and looking at me and goes, that's all bullshit. And I was like, go fuck yourself. Like, it's like, why do you have that on? You should take it off. It's all bullshit. And it's like, go fuck yourself.
I like it.
I like it.
Fuck you.
Yeah, and I haven't had anyone say, this is all bullshit with my Labradorite.
No, why would they?
And not why would they? It's like it doesn't exactly yell religious, but and I appreciate that people don't want to hear it's all bullshit, because it's a bit counterintuitive. I think the best way to
stop me from saying it to some people though.
yeah, like sometimes you just go, you're an idiot. What you're saying is an idiot, and I just no. It's sort of like God going, for example, the whole God loves you and loves you and wants to be you to be happy, and I'm like, he wants to send me to hell. Like, how does God love me?
If he loves me so much, why am I so fucking fat?
Exactly. If you love me so much, why insert reason here? If you love me so much, then why do I have to wear glasses?
Yeah.
Why do we die?
Yeah. Yeah, we're the perfect creation of God, yet we have to wear glasses. Our
Mm.
breathing apparatus is right next to our eating apparatus for a choking hazard.
Mhm.
Excellent intelligent design there, big fella.
Yeah. My biggest argument against intelligent design is the female reproductive system.
That looks like Lucifer, right? The whole.
Exactly.
Seen that?
Yeah, it does look like.
When I first saw that, I was on the floor. I'm like, oh my, wow. And then the
Yeah.
monster drink with the three symbols. So I was like, holy fuck, you people are reaching now.
It's so funny. When I saw that, I was giggling a lot.
I literally almost fell off the chair I was sitting in. But it was one of them high bar chairs, and I was leaning forward. And when I saw that, I kind of leaned forward and just about fell off the chair. Like, oh, shit, fuck you, Isaac Newton, for finding gravity, you bastard.
How dare you?
Awesome.
So, yeah. Purple rhymes with orange. What does an Egyptian goose? What does an Egyptian goose sound like? Ankh, ankh. That's brilliant. I love it.
My ex-girlfriend actually has an ankh tattooed on her forearm right now.
Yeah, it's a cool symbol. I like it.
It is. I got a beautiful necklace with one. It's actually the ankh that was. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Vampire the Masquerade game, where it's a role-playing game with vampires, and one of the leading vampires wears this ankh that's got roses and stuff in it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful. I can't wear necklaces much anymore because they always fucking make my neck all rashy and stuff because I have like a psoriasis thing. So.
Ugh.
Yeah, it sucks.
Intelligent design.
Yeah.
You.
Fuck you. Way back in the day when I was wishing for that mutant healing ability like Wolverine, I didn't expect to get psoriasis, you motherfucker. Anyway, enough about my personal life. Yeah. All right. Well, Nervardia, thanks for doing this, man.
That's all right.
Finally got to get you on there.
I know it's been a while, hasn't it?
Yeah. And same with little Jen's little corner too. We're gonna get her on here as well because we've been talking about it forever. And I finally actually did get a date chosen for her. So.
Ooh. Yeah. You've got a date with her. Ooh.
I've got a date with her. Yeah, she's promising me. I know she's promising me a nice back massage too. I'm like, I don't know how she's going to do that virtually, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, it's on January 8th. She's going to be in my season 3. Yeah,
January 9th for the Aussies.
Well, January 9th for all the people down under.
Oh, down under.
Down under. And I'm trying. I have Andrew Seidel in here for the 13th, but I have to make sure. He can do that day because he can't really do evenings and he can't do weekends because he's a family man, right? So he's got stuff. Have
you also talked to Atheist Pastor and Vagrant Sam? They're 2 other Australian YouTubers as well. We seem to be coming out of the woodwork since Morrison got elected because Morrison's a little bit of a right-wing sort of like religious nut.
Oh,
so yeah,
I've heard of the 2 of them, but I have not spoken to them about it yet.
Yeah. And have you had Mr. Bear Atheist on as well? I think you have, haven't you?
Got him right here. January 25th.
Nice.
And Sarah Michelle. Cordial Curiosity. You guys know Reed Nicewinder, Dust Street Epistemology.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I'm pretty stoked though for January 4th, which is my first episode of season 3. Chris Shelton, who's an ex-Scientology guy.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Yeah, he's that should be interesting. Anyways.
All right. Let's hang up and do the thing in
the after party.
The after party. So,
all right, everybody, thank you for hanging out with Nervardia and me. Hope you guys liked it. Sorry, I got a bit of a beer burps going on at the second here.
It wouldn't be a deconversion story without it, would there?
No. You've seen some, have you? Yeah. If I didn't belch at least once in these things, it's just not the same.
No.
All right, guys. I hope you guys liked the show. We are going to do an after party, and we're going to get into it fairly quick. I'm just going to have a quick cigarette and suck a fatty. That sounds like a great idea, doorknob head. I should. I got a little big ass roach sitting right down there. I could probably puff on that. Everybody likes Stone Neil. He's so much better when he's stoned. Anyway, again, everybody, thanks so much for doing this.
All right, and don't forget, don't give yourself the raw prawn.
Yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. All right, as you guys know, I always say at the end of these things, if you like what I do, this is how I'm starting it again now. If you like what I do and you do want to help support the show, there are a few ways you can do that. I have a Patreon now, so you can become a patron. I also have a way you can donate a one-time donation if you like, just to throw some cash and go, hey, buddy, go buy a case of beer. My PayPal account. And I also have as we were talking about earlier, the Amazon wish list, and you can grab something for me from there if you want to help out with the show. Everything that I do get through these things always goes back into my payments for the computer. By the way, it doesn't actually go for beer. That's all a joke and stuff like that. I can afford
Nice. Nice.
But every amount of cash that I do get goes right into the payment of my computers, because I've spent a lot of money on this fucker, but I needed it. And yeah, and also, like the late great Christopher Hitchens once said, it's called faith because it's not knowledge. And we will see you guys next time.